This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
And welcome back. With the colder weather upon us, that means you might be out and about near a frozen lake or pond, whether you're fishing or going ice skating. But before you do it, it's important to take safety precautions to reduce the risk of falling through the ice. Knowing how to judge ice conditions will also help you make more informed decisions while enjoying the winter. To share some safety tips with us, we have Kirksville Fire Chief Tom Collins and firefighter Brad Neff here this morning. How are you doing, gentlemen?
Good morning. Just fine.
So obviously it is the colder months and some lakes and ponds are frozen over, others aren't so much. But the reason why we're definitely bringing some attention to this is because last month there was an incident where 2 teenage boys in the state of Missouri fell through ice and ended up losing their lives. So we want to kind of just reiterate how important this is and talk about what we need to keep in mind when we go out. So first of all, what are some safety tips we need to keep in mind?
Okay. First off, we want to thank Samantha for arranging the cold weather this morning. It's kind of like, hey, great, just remind us that it's going to freeze over again.
Right.
First off, it takes time to form ice enough that you can walk on it. It doesn't, just because it's cold today, doesn't mean it's going to be the first ice you're not going to be able to walk on. With 2 inches or less, you just need to just stay off the ice. If it gets above 2 inches, you can walk on it, but you can't necessarily fish on it because you can walk, but if you stay stationary, it can crack through. They consider 4 inches safe to ice fish on, where you can sit down, drill a hole in it, and fish off of it. So around here, we really need to have at least 4 inches of ice before we go out on it to fish, and it's hard to judge. Part of the problem that people get in is the ice starts forming around the edge of the pond, and they can get on it and it's nice and firm, so they think the whole pond is all that thick, and it's not that way. It's different thicknesses throughout, and they can fall through out in the middle instead of where it's thick on the shore, it's not thick out in the middle. So that's part of the issues.
Okay. So when we are out and about, obviously you guys are trained to do this sort of thing, but obviously we don't want for this incident to happen. Right. So in case it does happen, what should we have, with us? You brought some safety gear with us. Now this is something that you encourage people to have with them when they do go out, whether it's ice fishing or anything else like that. So kind of explain here what we have.
Okay, well first off, if you go out, if you're going to go out on the ice, understand that it's above water. So if you break through, you need to float. So the first thing we'd like people to do is wear a life jacket. You can put it on either underneath a coat or over a coat. It doesn't really matter. And even if it's cold enough to ice fish, you probably need it. It helps retain your body heat anyway. And if you fall in, it can keep you afloat long enough to have somebody help save your life.
All right.
Or you can.
All right. And what else do we have over here? It looks like we have...
well, one of the first things we have is and I don't know, there you go. Couple of throw bags. You can buy this at Walmart or a couple of different hardware stores. It's a made safety bag that if don't go alone, have somebody with you and stay apart. And if somebody falls through, instead of running, what happens a lot is they run and try to help them, and then they end up falling through the ice with them. So stay back, throw them a rope, and help pull them out.
Okay.
And that's a made one, but you can make your own. You can buy just any rope.
At the hardware store?
At any hardware store, carry it in your pocket. If there's 2 people, both people should have a piece of rope because you don't know who might fall through. Couple things. First, if you're walking on the ice and it starts to crack, we'd like people to lower down, go down to hands and knees and crawl back to safety. If it's starting to crack with where you're walking on 2 spots, so you lower yourself down to 4 and it spreads your weight out, and then get off the ice if it's starting to crack.
All right.
What we have 2 things. They're called isols. That's a pre-manufactured set you can have that it hides the pick for safety, or you can buy a couple of screwdrivers and you have this. And what people will do is when they're going out on the ice to check the thicknesses is they'll have this around their neck, and if they fall through, this helps grab hold of the ice to get out because there's nothing to grab hold of.
Gotcha.
So they use this to help get out of the ice if you're stuck, especially if you're by yourself.
Okay.
Also, with using these, you want to kick your feet
It helps
to help pull yourself out.
Okay. All right. So really quickly, because we are running out of time, what type of training, I know that you guys do training every year, so what type of training do the firefighters go through to prepare themselves for this situation?
We have ice rescue training. We have the suits that protect us in the heat. I mean, keep us warm in all the cold water. We prepare to just like what we want people to do, to throw them a rope first before we go out and get them. You know, there's no need for us to get into the water if we don't have to, if somebody can grab a hold of a rope.
Okay.
So we have all the equipment. Hopefully once we get a little bit of ice, we'll have you out and
We'll try this ice rescue, and I'll go into the water and
There
we'll
you
see
go.
how it goes.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, fantastic. What we'll do is we'll post all of these safety tips on our website at heartlandconnection.com, and we'll also link up the fire department's information if you have any questions or concerns. Again, thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on,
Thank you.
and we'll be right back.